Hey, good evening and good evening all. And yeah, let me start with the training. Last week actually we ended it here, started the conditional statements. Yeah, but I'm gonna repeat that from if statements. Yeah, yeah, we have decision making statements. Okay, so first is if, and the other one is switch statement. Okay, so let's go and check what exactly these things. Okay, so generally in decision making in our life, we used to make a lot of decisions. Okay, in our day-to-day life. Okay, so a similar way, when you wanted to do some decision at the program side, so we need some kind of syntaxes, or some kind of help from the you know Java, that they have to provide some kind of syntax to achieve these kind of decisions. Okay, so let's see, there are multiple ways that we go with our decisions, right? So the first way is like to think something yes or no. So right, it will be having only two kind of outcomes. Okay, either yes or either no. So it will be only one outcome, but you'll be having two choices. Okay, so let's say if you want to take that kind of decisions in the Java program, yeah, there is only one thing that we can consider. It is if you know if statement. If statement. Okay, so that is our first example that we are going to see it. Okay, so what exactly the if statements, right? Okay, so yeah, so here, if you see here, this is the if condition, you know, syntax. Generally, there are only one outcome from this program. Either the true will be coming out, or either the false will be coming out based on the condition, whatever we have it. Okay, so and it's simply if you want to find out, which is uh, like what do we say? So if you want to find out one of the even number, okay, whatever you're passing it, whether you have to check whether that is an even number or not. Okay, so in the condition you're going to write something, you know, which is applicable, to check the past number is even or not, right? So what we generally do, that we generally use divisible by 2. If it is divisible by 2, then definitely it should be an even number. So you will be writing something, some condition, okay, on the in the sorry in the if condition. Okay, if that condition passes, okay, then the if logic is going to execute, and once if the condition fails to execute, okay, so that means it is going to the it is going to execute the else block. Okay, like whatever you see here. So the if it is true, the condition is true will be printed, else the condition is false. Okay, yeah, and okay, so that is if. And if I go back to the program, okay, so the same way which I mentioned last, yeah. So if you see here the if condition, and yeah, this if condition, we are just checking whether the even number or not. If it is even number, we are just printing even number. And if it is not, then we are printing odd number in the else block. So it's very simple. So just try to run it, and you will get even for now. So even number. So if you want to change something and test the execution, let's run it again. So, condition odd number. Okay. So this is how we can execute that. Just a minute. So let me switch. Yeah. Let me take the same thing, to so that next time. It would be easy. Find out even or odd. Okay. Yeah, let's see. Let's try to execute this one more time. And this is okay. The import statement is missing. Okay. Let's copy that. Right here. Java if condition and the number 3 or number and the number 4, even number and the number 5 or number 6. Okay, done. Yeah. So yeah, I just added the scanner class to read it directly from the command prompt, so that every time I don't require to change the number over there. Okay. So scanner class is one of them class which can help, which will help us to get the data from command line. Okay. Command line prompt. Okay. From the okay, it will just enable the direct input from the user. Okay. Yeah, let me go back to the switch condition. So switch statement, right? So what exactly the difference between if and switch statement? It is like if is having only two conditions, whether if it is yes or no, you know, depending on that, the true condition will execute or yes condition will execute. Or if it is if no, no condition will be, else block will be executed. And also that means, the false will be executed. Okay, so but in case of switch statement, actually, it is in simple words, the Java switch statement executes one statement from multiple conditions. So yeah, one example is like, weekdays, but the other example that you can consider as a credit score. Okay, so, depending on the credit score, we were trying to give, the loan amount of, a user, right? So in those cases, like what we have, in the switch condition, switch action, switch the switch statement, we are going to check about the uh, credit score of the customer. Okay, so in the case, right, in the case value one, and we are going to write some condition, right? So if the credit score is greater than some 850, or that will be fall under the first condition, the first case. Okay, so in that you can write something, disburse of disburse amount of this much money. And if in the second case, if the amount is you know in between the 850 and 800, okay, there is a separate amount that we need to disperse, like not the full amount. Okay, so similarly you have multiple cases that you can write it, and then at the end, you just use the default. Okay, for the wrong entry. Or if you're not expecting any entry for that, then default should be executed. That's how it does. Okay, so let's go and check an example of switch. Switch. Okay, so just running it. So in this example, what we have done, we just took, the weekdays example. Okay, so in the switch statement, we are going to pass the day of the number, so the day of the week. Okay, so like which number we are going to pass it from 1 to 7. If we have, if the value is 2, or if the value is 3, something, depending on those numbers, we are going to get the day string back. If it is 2, we are going to get the day string as Tuesday. If it is 3, we are going to get it as Wednesday. Okay, so similarly, you know the cases are going to execute depending on the day on the switch. Okay, so let's see how it works here. So I'm just entering 3, so the out should be Wednesday. Okay, so same way, 6 Saturday, 8 invalid day. So that means the default one is got executed. Okay, this is the switch statement. Okay, yeah, so now we know how to make the computer to make the decisions based on the instructions. Now let's see another important aspect of programming, something for which the computers are known for. Okay, so if you remember that we were just talking about if conditions, and there are other things that we have kind of, repetitive works that we do with the computer. Okay. So you know what, like, most of the programming hubs, right? We have many tasks to do, on a daily basis. Like first one is, to test the app for each and every release. Okay. Each and every release, and we are, you know, just keep on increasing that. Okay. So that means, the testing of your application programs are keep on getting increased, right? So this is most important every time we do the similar set of tests, before releasing the application. And yeah, it's monotonous. Okay. And wish we could that repeated task from some machine. Okay. If it can perform, you know let's see, whether it is possible or not. But yeah, when it come to the looping, or when it come to the repetitive task that you can still achieve, that those kind of repetitive tasks, using a loops concept in the applications. Okay, sorry, uh, in the hands of programming, right? We have this loop concepts, okay, to work on. Okay, so these loops will be helping us, to achieve the repetitive task. Okay, so something like this, if you wanted to write down ABCD and 10 times, okay, so and instruct the computer to perform it 10 times. Okay, so the easiest way is, you have to write the 10 times. Okay, like system.out.println task ABCD 1 2 3 same. Okay, writing all those 10 statements, 10 time, one time, it would printed this, for you with the same ABCD, but for 10 times, right? So, but that is not the way that we are looking for, because it is it is kind of, again, you are writing something, correct? So let's see a better option for this one. So the way to is, in programming we have something called a loop, okay, which helps us to carry out tasks repeatedly, okay, without the need of writing the same instructions several times. Okay, so similar to the if else statement, loop is also, having a keyword. Okay, so whenever, we have a condition, or to execute, in a form of loop, we do have several ways, that we can achieve this for loop. Sorry, we can achieve these loops. Okay, so, for example, if you can see there something like this, the loop will be starting with some. Okay, and we'll be having, a condition when to stop this complete loop. And yeah, so depending on those, we are going to write multiple statements, inside the loop, right? Like test A, test B, test C. Those are the things. Okay, so in here, okay, there are only three parts that you might see: loop, and when to stop, and loop block, right? So loop block is nothing but, the code wherever we were expecting. Okay, yeah, we're expecting, to execute some code, right? That place, actually we call it as, loop block. The testing of, those screens will go inside the while loop. Okay, yeah, so loop statements, we have these many: do while loop, and while, for loop, okay, and for each loop. Okay, for each, you are going to learn after the collections. So first we'll go with while loop. Okay, so sometimes we don't know when to stop our loop. Okay, like the above image. So, you know a guy is waiting for a, letter from post office. Okay, but we do know when the we know when he can stop executing, or visiting the postman every day, or post office every day, right? So what is going to ask every day? He used to visit post office and he's going to ask whether I received a letter or not, right? So and postman used to say, there is no letter on your name. So, he'll be returning back again to home. So the same loop is going to repeat multiple times, n number of times, until unless he receives that letter. Okay. So what do you understand? We know the condition way to break the loop, and we know what to write in the while loop. Okay, in the loop body. Okay, and the condition. How to stop it, right? And both. Okay, so you have the condition now, and this true, like whenever the condition executes, it needs to be having some loop. Okay, and end of that loop. Okay, so end of that steps that we are going to write it in while loop. Okay, so it is have at the end, we'll be having the condition, sorry, not the condition. Yeah, so in the condition, actually we'll be having a loop. Okay, to execute those test cases or whatever we wanted to write, we can write it under the while body. Okay, loop body. Okay, so for such kind of repeated tasks, we use while loop. Okay, so while loop, that's what I was trying to say. While is having a condition to stop and the instructions. Okay, so same way, while condition and instruction. While is the keyword, in condition where to stop, and in the instructions, we have this put demo kind of thing. Okay, so we'll go with that demo first, and then we'll go with do while. Okay, so let me share it back. Okay, so I'm at while loop. Okay, just a minute. Okay, once again. Okay. Bar to execute while loop. Okay. So let me run this. Okay. So again, the same thing. I forgot the scanner. Yeah. Go there. Yeah. Let me run it again. And just give the Java while. Oh, okay. Sorry. Java while loop. So it is asking enter a number to execute a while loop, right? So I'm just giving 3. So you are going to get 3 print statements. Let me try one more time. Just give 6 now and enter. You'll be getting. Wait, why? Okay. Okay, 1 second. Hmm. It. What is this? Java while loop, right? Right. Okay. Java while loop. Okay. Okay. Cool. Yeah, it is. I think I got it. Okay, so the I is not getting garbage collected. Okay, so let's see. One. Yeah, right. Okay, that's fine. Okay. Java while loop for. Mhm. Okay, let me do that one more time. So after this, I'll just make it to I is equals to 0. Okay. And just try to run it. Let's see if it is going to fix it, or we'll call the garbage collector. Yeah. Java while loop. Okay, so I'm gonna enter 4. Oh no. Oh, okay. So that's fine. Yeah, it is like, so we were trying to execute 4. Okay, 4 less than 6 only 2 times. That's correct. Okay, so that's fine. Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay. I was not checking the condition. Okay. Let me just make it as 7 and try 4 again. Java while loop. 3 times it should execute. Okay. Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, it is working fine. Okay. And if condition, also I'm gonna write the same thing. My obj dot clause. Just run it. Okay. So let's go to the next one. Okay. After the while loop. Yeah. The while condition we have just checked it. And the next one is do while. Okay. So the do while is um, okay. So in some scenarios, actually, before executing the actual loop, we have to check, or we have to read at least once, to find out whether it is a correct one or not, or to find out whether these are the things that we need to repeat it, for multiple times. To identify those things, actually do while is going to help us. Do while is having a very pretty much a different syntax when we compare to the while loop. So so do will be helping us to find or to execute the loop for first time. And once the loop is executed, it is going to give you, okay, the first time instructions. It is going to execute without any uh, conditions. Okay, once it executed those instructions under the do, then it will be having a similar kind of while condition what we have it in while loop. So if the condition satisfies, it is going to again execute the instructions. And if the condition is not satisfying, then it is not going to re-execute that statement. Okay, so generally these kind of do whiles we use it in the file read operations, where we wanted to check some file whether this is the same file that we are looking for or not. So in those conditions, we generally use do while. Okay, so if you see the syntax of it, like do instructions and while condition, over here. So the instructions will be our the code where we are trying to execute some statements over there. And the while condition is, we have this the condition where to stop the loop. Okay, so let's see one example. Okay, what exactly it is going to be. Okay, for do while. Yeah, so same way, we are trying to execute it is for multiple times. Okay, so let me add the same scanner class again, for future purpose. Okay, we can directly, code Java, code YouTube, code scanner. Okay. Yeah. So what I'm gonna do here, it is in number and I, right? So how many times that you wanted to print the same statement? So, we have to use it that. Okay. The loop is going to start from there. So enter a number to loop the instructions. Okay. So let's just try to run it. And yeah, it is executed. And Java do while loop. Okay. And it is going to for 5 times, I'm going to say. So you are going to get the print statement for 5 times. Okay. So if you say 9 times, it is going to print the statement for 9 times. That's it. So even though, the first statement is printing directly without the loop. Okay. And then, it is going to consider the loop, for the rest of the 8 print statements. Okay. So yeah, that's all for today. Okay. So we will continue, the next loop statements, for loop, tomorrow. Um, and if you have any questions or something, let me know. Stop sharing.